Oh, welcome everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to be back here once again. I think it's the second year in a row, which is absolutely outstanding. Last time I was here, there was a lot of construction. I don't even think we were inside. So it's nice to see that you've actually fixed the place up a little bit, polished it up and got me back. Super stoked to be here. And to be completely honest, the last 2.5 years or so of coming into the different villages, hanging out, getting to know a lot of residents has actually been a real highlight for me. Hence the fact that I'll take the day off any day to come and do this, right? Thank you so much for letting us come back in here today. Let's have a little bit of food fun for the next 45 minutes or so. But before we start, and before I explain what the dishes are, etc., I wanted to just get a quick percentage or a quick show of hands and see who actually has an air fryer at home right now. Holy. Because I've started to go to the supermarket and I've started to see that there are boxes and stuff with the labels in the freezer department that has air fryer specific recipes. And then this morning when I was at New World, I've also seen the new packaging coming out that says TikTok recommended. We are living in a new age. There is no doubt. So TikTok recommended. Okay, so just talking about the air fryers. Who has a single drawer? Hands up, single drawers. Who has a double drawer? And who has one that's like this? A couple. Now, is this an air fryer? Okay, thank you, my wife. I just needed to settle that argument with my wife because she believes this is the true air fryer and these are the new fandangled ones that are coming out with too many things. It's too big for the bench, she said. I think it fits perfectly. We have, without a word of a lie, spent the last 2.5 years smashing our air fryers. Okay, this is number 2, number 3. My first one is with my mum. I will probably give one of these away before the end of the year and get myself another one just to make sure that I understand how they all work because they're not all created equal. So today we've got 3 beautiful dishes, okay? And slightly different to the normal thing that you would cook in an air fryer. So I'm gonna show you how easy it is to do burger and fries, okay, number 1. My burgers are slightly different to other people's because I like to serve my burgers with simple chips, crisps. It's an American thing, but I love either a chicken sandwich or a beef burger with fries, pickles, and a fizzy drink. It could be a beer, I'm not fussed. I'm gonna do that, serve that on the side, not just with my crisps, so I thought I'd start off some of my air fryer kumara fries as well, but that actually goes with the third dish that we're gonna cook, but I'm gonna cook them now and then finish them off in a bit. I'm amazed at this particular crisp. I have had this open for about a minute or so, so they're gonna go soft quite quickly, but you can see that is a Beauregard kumara, and that kumara has actually kept its crunch quite well. But I have noticed the smaller you cut your potatoes in kumara, the more crunchy they are in here, okay? So that's number 1. So that's burger, delicious burger with McClure's pickles and some fries, etc. Second dish, we're going to do a pork chop, which is a pork chop. If you've never cooked a pork chop in your air fryer, it's like the greatest thing that's ever happened. Because you can get it nice and caramelized on the outside. You can start to render the fat from the pork chop, but you can also remove the skin and crackle the skin. So finally, we are now having a decent crackled skin on the side of our pork chop instead of it not being cooked, not quite cooked all the way through. The third dish we're going to do today is going to be a fish taco. So we're going to also cook the fish in the air fryer as well. Really simple. We're going to do that with a lime kind of mayonnaise slaw as well. So really quite simple dishes. Really easy to interchange things out, but really just about the air fryers today. So with all of us in here having an air fryer, we're all going to have tips and tricks. This is our chance to share that information around and for everybody that's going to watch, because there are some snippets of magnificent information that we've already learnt. And if we don't share them, sometimes someone makes a mistake that they didn't need to. So the more knowledge we can share today, that means more questions, the better it will be for everybody. Okay, so we talk a lot about air fryers and about why are they, what's different about them for a start. Okay, so let's just do a quick lesson on both of these particular machines. This one is like a Ninja. Okay, very good quality. The Ninja's a very good quality air fryer, and I think these suit cooking for two perfectly. You can do your fish and chips in here if you're just reheating, but baking in here is very difficult because the air circulates in such a way that you don't get an even rise on any baking. Whereas on this one, I get an even rise. It must be because the air is slightly, maybe more gentle in circulation, but obviously a more measured heat across the whole thing. Okay. The other thing I like about this, super easy to clean. That bottom part, the grill part comes out, it's all non-stick in there, in it goes. You clean it every single time you use it. Otherwise it smells like you're walking past McDonald's. And oh, no matter what you say, that smell, I cannot get rid of that smell out of my psyche. So I wash this one every single day. This one, you can wash the inside of this no problem, like the pieces. It's got a rotisserie, it's got everything. I defrosted in here the other day. You can dehumidify as well. But to clean the sides, the bottom and the top was really quite difficult. So I oven sprayed it. Oven spray in there, waited the 75 minutes, cleaned it out, perfect. Okay? Yes?
Going back to your basket one.
Yep.
I have recently started buying inserts that go in there made out of baking paper. What's your opinion of them?
Okay. I've got one to give away today. An insert, actually. Thank you for reminding me. But I've found, for this particular machine here, if I was trying to get the caramelization on the outside, and I have put a container in here, like a silicone container, the circulation is different around that particular piece of meat. So if I'm cooking meat, I like to keep it straight on that grill plate. Because if you'll hear when I put my patty in there, I'll get a sear. Yeah, if I'm cooking a vegetable or the muffins the other day, I saw no issue. Okay, I saw no problem. But I just think it does change the air circulation a little bit on the inside. I think that answers your question. It's about as, I mean, I just noticed it in the last few weeks, actually. This one I've only had for a month, but I know the circulation is definitely a lot better. So if you, just before I kind of get started, if I turn this around a touch so everyone can see, you guys can still see over there. So off, on. See, look, we've got air fry, chips, wings, pizza, steak, cookies, snacks, veggies, bake, reheat, warm, defrost, prove, dehydrate, roast, broil, bagel. Some of those things I probably won't ever do in here, but some of them I got it because I wanted to see what it would work like. The defrosting situation worked extremely well, no problem. But I've roasted, dehydrated, defrosted, and I've warmed. But it's not like a microwave, right? So it took a lot longer. Okay. But that's about it, I think. What else can I say? This basket becomes really important for doing things like your pork and fries, but the roasting tray is pretty average. They're not huge, it's not really heavy gauge, so the quality is pretty average. The other thing that I've noticed about this particular machine is when you go to shut it, not me personally, but my wife and son, it goes like that. No matter how many times you say it, it still does it every time. So you do have to watch that a little bit, okay? Other than that, they're pretty good. Okay. Oh, that was a lot of talking to get started. It's really simple burgers. I've got some Wagyu mince in here. I'm going to put gloves on today because it's going to be a lot faster for me. Now, these burgers never come out as good as I would predict from a pan, because my burgers I like to smash and squash the patty down so it goes really, really thin. Now, you could do that in here, of course, but what I'm finding is that it dries the meat out a little bit. So I didn't go for super lean Wagyu. It's got a little bit of fat in there, as you would understand, and I find that that actually helps the patty stick together a little bit better. But I've gone for quite a large one, and all I've done in there is season with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. But you could put whatever you want in here, right? Paprika, cumin, you could flavour this with bacon and onions and everything. But this is just a very simple burger to show you how it works. first half, seared, in 200 degrees. We'll see how we go. I'll just do one. Halfway through the cooking, what I will do is take out some of this Gouda cheese. Now, if you guys haven't used this particular cheese for your burgers, it's very good. Very, very good. It melts in a very nice way and it's got a really nice flavour, so I'll use one of those as well. These buns are just normal everyday buns.
Sorry,
yes.
Take a step back.
Yep.
How long do you preheat the drawer?
That's a great question because this one doesn't tell you when it's preheated. This one, the light comes off, usually goes green or it's off, okay? But this one you never know, so this is such a good question. We've had a lot of arguments in the house as my wife thinks this one isn't as powerful as the one that we had prior. And I have to keep saying, well, did you preheat? And she said, it doesn't tell me to preheat. But everything, like all of these ovens, you just need to preheat them. And it is only five minutes or so. But this is faster than this. Okay? Now that that's had a couple of seconds, this is when I like to just open, have a quick look. It's starting to change colour and just put a drizzle of oil over the top. I don't know if you guys have been buying a lot of oil lately, but I've just come back from Northland actually and bought a bottle up there, but the olives aren't going well in New Zealand at the moment, especially up north. The weather wasn't so great, so a lot of the people aren't actually picking their olives this year. They're going to wait till next year. Right, while that's going in there, I'm going to do one little bit of slaw. So on the bottom of my bun, I have a couple of things that I like, okay? One is I'm not a big sauce person, so I go Kewpie mayonnaise, which is probably the greatest. If you've never had this mayonnaise, this is the greatest mayonnaise ever made in production that you could ever buy. Japanese mayonnaise, it's definitely not healthy, but it is definitely very tasty, and you don't need to use a lot, okay? And hands up if you've ever eaten a McClure's. I love this. Now I know that these are not from New Zealand, but these are an American pickle. I think they're made in New York. I ate them when I was there a few years ago, and to be completely honest with you, they are the nicest pickle I've ever eaten. So I eat them from now on. So I bought some of those. So we're just going to have the beef, a pickle, the mustard, straight in, simple burger. Okay. My fries are going to go on the side, because I've actually just come back from France and I was up there with in a competition called the Bocuse d'Or competition. It's a culinary competition, and the young guy that we took with us, William Mordito, who's a New Zealand candidate, is the first time New Zealand's ever got to the final. And so we went up there and it was absolute, 24 of the world's best chefs. A lot like you guys this morning with your glasses of champagne, I was a judge. And so I was also sitting with my glass of champagne waiting for the 24 dishes to come forward for me to have a taste. Now, before we started eating all of those dishes, somebody said to me, look, you don't want to eat the whole lot, Brett. You just have a little bit of a taste and then you do your marking, otherwise you'll be too full. I had the first mouthful of the first plate and I was like, holy, this is great. So I ate that whole plate. I ate the next 23 plates as well, and then went out for dinner and had another 10 courses. So it doesn't, you know, it just goes to show if the food's good, it's good. Now, you can see my patties, the best thing about it is they keep their shape with the Wagyu. You see that? It's really beautiful. But I'm just going to turn that over slightly because you can see the caramelization. You probably can't. But you can see the caramelization from the bottom part, right, as opposed to the top. So turn that over. The other funny thing that I've got here, you guys, that you'll probably have a laugh at, is I carry one of these around with me. Hands up who uses a thermometer at home. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 15 years for me in this business. And I do know that everyone says, do this. Do this. And I'm like, yep, that feels about that and that feels about that. But in reality, if I'm cooking for you and I want it to be perfect, this is the thing to use. So if you like a medium rare steak and you want to take it off at 54 degrees, you take the steak off at 52, it'll rest up to 54, and every single time you'll give someone exactly what they want. The preciseness, I find, is actually a really good thing, right? Okay, me bun down. Al Brown's beautiful habanero mustard. Now it's not hot or spicy, it's kind of like American styles. So probably too much sugar. Okay, a little bit of that goes down. Now I've got a little bit of slaw here. I think I'm just going to add a little bit just for fun. Okay. My pickles will always go on the top. Just a little bit of that yum yum. Okay, and a few pickles on the side too, because what I've always found with a lot of American food is it either is so sweet or so salty that sometimes it's actually quite good to just have something like that to cut through all of that. Anyone like a crisp while I'm... Oh, yeah. Because the wine gets full on without crisps, eh? Do you know that they are a beautiful company and a beautiful crisp? They've done an exceptional job. Ned Smith, the guy that made proper crisps, is an American chap who only came to New Zealand because he's the world's largest oceanic art collector. And when he went to Nelson, he fell in love with Nelson, bought a piece of oceanic art, and then thought, oh, that's a good chip, and bought that chip factory and had it for 3 years. And I think he does seed crackers or something like that. But he's just an entrepreneur that has given a lot back to us. Pretty awesome. Rightio, we'll have a check. This is at 200 degrees, full air fry for the patty. I can already see now that it's caramelising beautifully. I'm going to say 38. That is super fast. Do you know that is the first time I've actually noticed, I wish you could see in there. I just put my thermometer into that patty and then it erupted with juice. So you know when you're cooking in a pan and the sizzle is always moisture coming out of the pan because that's what's happening. It's either the moisture hitting the oil or whatever, and that sound is moisture. But because we're not cooking it in a pan in oil, it's just around and getting air fried, so it's getting caramelized around the whole outside. I think it means that all the liquid and all the extra moisture from that meat has stayed inside. So when I've just punctured it with that, it's just sprayed out. Quite amazing. So my point is, I think, very delicious. One slice of cheese, straight over the top. Now that'll melt on. Okay, any questions so far? Pretty easy this one, eh?
How long does the cheese stay?
That cheese, well, I'm gonna take that out as soon as that cheese is nice and golden, but maybe another 3 or 4 minutes. That just temp checked up to 54. With any mince, you want to get it over 75. We know that for sure. Yep. Most of the food that you will probably get served here will all be cooked over 75 degrees as well. It's just New Zealand health and safety laws. Right, I was going to just do a few more fries. So I'll take a handful of fries, straight onto my board here. I'm going to take a pinch of powder on there, and I wanted, if you've got an air fryer, you've got to have spray oil. Okay, that goes in, that goes like that. Play, air fry, 10 minutes, boom. I won't even need 10 minutes. So last night, I cut my fries last night. I put them in water to soak them overnight. The new thing at the moment is to have fermented chips. So they're leaving them 2 or 3 days and then drying them out and then cooking them. And they taste slightly fermented, which is quite a strange thing. But yeah, that's kind of where we're heading. But yes, I found with the two differences of kumara, right? We already know that the red kumara is full of starch. The orange kumara is not full of starch, higher in sugar, but not the highest. That's why you can eat a Beauregard raw, but you can't eat the purple kumara raw. Right? So because of that, they cook in 2 different ways. The starchier one, or the red kumara, will go crispier and crunchier. The other one has got too much sugar and less starch, so it stays quite droopy. So if you ever want to have a real crispy chip, you've either got to cook that orange one 2 times, or you just stick with the red one. Okay? If I took this out, see these have been sitting for a while, so they've gone soft. But when that first came out, it was real nice and crispy. I think as a fry, pretty average. But we'll see how crispy they get. Oh yeah. I just want to make sure I get all of that crispy cheese off the side. Yeah, would just someone say I'll eat that later? Okay, so straight on. These crispy, crunchy, cheesy bits I don't want to lose either, so I'm just going to get into my air fryer and do that. Oh yeah. That's what I was talking about. Because now, when you put a couple of pickles on the top, and you know, if you wanted to red onion slice, and in fact, maybe I will put a red onion slice. And there you have it. There you go. Well, it actually looks pretty good. I would smash that. I think that's if the Formula One had been this afternoon, wouldn't that be nice sitting in front of the Formula One? Did anyone watch that this morning?
Yes.
Yep.
Is anyone else a little disappointed?
Yep.
Oh, I feel sorry for the guy. Okay, now I'll just take out those few fries. Rightio. Now, number 2. We are going to do a pork chop. I take the skin off. I take the skin off my chicken, everything. I air fry the skin separate to the chicken. The chicken goes like crackling, and it's beautiful. You just season a little bit, lay it out on the wire rack. Just lay it out on the rack. You don't even need to put any oil, put a bit of salt on it, you put it in 180 degrees and you just cook until it's crisp. It comes off there in a piece and it is the greatest topping to crunch over things, or it's just delicious. Okay, so I took the skin of the pork off, and I didn't even cut it really thin and take all the fat off, because you can just take the fat off once it's cooked anyway, okay? 180 degrees, that was at, and I had that in there for, I think it was about 20 minutes at 180 degrees. Usually at home, I would then bump it up to 200 degrees to finish off the crackle, but we were kind of doing it half and half today, so I just want to check. So that definitely worked. If it hadn't, I would have put it back in there for another 10 minutes at 200 degrees and it would have popped. I know for a fact there's been no vinegar on this, okay? When you take the skin off, or even if you've got a pork belly, okay? Your pork belly, I take the plastic off, put it on a plate, leave it in the refrigerator overnight. When you get up in the morning, you'll see it's dry. Really, really good. I don't even slice it with a knife to make my lines. I puncture. Just get a knife or something, a skewer, and I puncture. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, all over. 100 holes. Salt, leave it, bring it out of the fridge for half an hour, I wipe it off. White vinegar, I put white vinegar on the skin. Now you can have a tiny bit in a square dish, and you put the skin down into the vinegar, leave it there 30 minutes, take it out, clean it all off, right? Re-season, put it in the oven. And it will be puffed, crunchy, and beautiful. If you're worried about it, 180, don't open the oven. If you're like me and becoming obsessed, and my son, then we start off with like 150, we go to 170, then we go up to 200, but you don't need to. 180 works fine, okay? Right, chops, very simple chops. And I've got a tiny bit of flavouring here. So I thought, keep it really simple. I've got some paprika, some garlic powder, and some onion powder, okay? I'll add in a sprinkle of salt and a couple of grinds of pepper. Now, that is my flavouring for the pork chop. Okay, so give that a mix. If you want to as well, you can also add in a little bit of oil into there. Okay, it's not compulsory, but I'll show you. I'll do it anyway. I don't pay for it though, eh? Do you know what? That this was $20 this morning, $18. It's on special at New World this morning. But you have to be very careful what you're buying. This is real, but most of the olive oils that we see in the supermarkets are blends, right? So have a look. They have to tell us. But if you're paying $35 or $40 and it's blended, put it straight back on the shelf. Or go for a better seed oil. I think the best oil to use at the moment I've been reading about is actually an algae oil. It's from the ocean. And it's high heat point and no carcinogens. So I think that's probably something we'll be hearing about in the future. Rightio, so now I've just made a really simple little marinade. The reason I'm using powders is when you are now going to the supermarket and you are going to buy this beautiful little thing here, and yes, I bought New Zealand garlic. That was $4. Okay, and I looked at it, but I didn't look good enough because I took off the cloves that were rotten. That was very annoying. But this has become so expensive, it's a premium product. We now need to be using either the minced garlics or the powders, right? A lot of people anyway. Use these very sparingly because this, compared to the Chinese garlic that you buy in the tubes that only last a week maximum, this has got 10 times more flavour. So I cooked a dish this week called chicken and 40 cloves of garlic, which is 3 bulbs. So I used the Chinese one. You could still hardly taste it was garlic. 45 cloves. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of the marinade over the pork like so. These aren't going to take that long to cook, right? So if you've got time though, leave them in the refrigerator overnight so that marinade really gets to soak in. Really beautiful. I think not all of our pork chops are created equal in New Zealand either. Remember, you know, we've only got a couple of organic or free-range pork farms. But buy New Zealand pork. I think that's the best thing we could do, is to be supporting our farmers here. The imported pork, I mean, we're probably buying enough of that in our bacons and stuff. But if you get the chance, buy good pork. So I'll set this one up here. This one is going to be set up for air fry 200. Air fry 200, I think that's going to take about 12 minutes. So 1, 2 at a time. I'll go 15, okay? But I won't push start yet. This one I'll go 15, that looks like about 3 o'clock, at 200. So they're both the same, and in a second we'll see. I think I'll even cook it on this tray. But I want to give that a wipe too. Rightio. Oops. Quite a long way around there. I might need an assistant.
What's the back leg? It's going here and there.
Oh yeah, it is too. Thank you. Rightio. Now, my blistered greens for this dish. I think in the recipe it's probably going to say mange tout, beans and broccolini. Some things are out of season, so I won't bring them. So I've just got some beautiful green beans and some broccolini, and all I've done is blanch them. Okay? The beans at the moment are absolutely beautiful. So for those, they're also going to go into the air fryer at 200 degrees. I'll just put a little bit of oil over those, a little bit of salt. Now you can see also I'm using this flaky salt. This is finishing salt. I shouldn't really cook with that salt because it's expensive. So just the normal fine iodinized salt is absolutely perfect for our cooking, okay? Alrighty. Take that away. Oh, I'm being quite a tidy Kiwi today. Okay, this is going to go for a great question as well, and I've got a book to give away for you guys as well. So anyone that's going to come up with a great question today is in the money. Thank you. Rightio, I will give this one 2 minutes to catch up on the preheat. But is there any questions so far? Okay. Yes.
My only question is, I see on Facebook and things, people put poached beans on breakfast, so I have opened it up to read it all. Do you recommend putting many plates or dishes inside that thing?
I have done a couple of egg dishes. So yeah, I don't see it as being too much of an issue. Obviously, you'd have to make sure that you're using the correct kind of dish. Yeah, but you know, I think, yeah, no problem at all. And they have just about everything in. But I will say this, online, rather than going to Briscoe's or any of the shops for any of the extras, because they don't have a great selection. They didn't even have some of the things. There was a couple of holes in the market I saw. So there are still a whole lot of accessories that we could be using for these things that aren't actually available in New Zealand, but online they are. Rightio. Here we go. Let's do it. Okay, that one's in there. And that one's in there. I'll leave the light on. Can you see in there? Rightio. That's the other thing I really like, is the fact that you can actually see in there. Okay, now the blistered greens. Now what I would do with these if I was at home is I'd probably finish them off with a little bit of butter and get a pan out, and I'd probably do some almonds or something as well, just because it's going to lift it a touch. But if you haven't got time, salt and pepper greens, when they're in season, nothing beats them, right? A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And I'm just going to let that get a little bit further along before I chuck those in. So, while we're waiting, I'm just going to do the slaw for the next dish as well. Okay, so this slaw is going to be for my fish tacos. I thought, we're always making slaws, and to be honest, when you go to the supermarket, I noticed $7.50 to buy a slaw in a bag. I was like, that's just way too much, especially when you look at what's in it. So half a carrot, an eighth of a red cabbage, and the same of a green cabbage. So, I mean, to make that cost me about maybe 40 cents. So I would suggest not buying it in the bag, just buying it and sharing it out. So a little bit of lime, which is only $6 a kilo, which is amazing because they're normally a lot more than that as well. I've got a beautiful bit of garlic here. New Zealand garlic, which is delicious. So the clove's actually probably quite large, so I'm just going to use maybe a half clove, maybe even a quarter. I always smash it down with my knife first, take some salt, if you haven't seen that. Put the salt on your garlic, then when you take your knife, it instantly makes a paste. And then what you can do is you could mix in some butter and parsley into there, straight into your stale French stick and delicious garlic bread. So that goes in. Right, I'm going to put a touch of chili into my dressing as well. Now for the dressing, this is straight out of the garden this morning. Not everyone likes chili, so I'll just go a little bit, but you'll see it. And if I just put a little bit in like that, perfect. And we don't need that. Rightio. Mayonnaise, a little bit of chili, a little bit of lime juice, and that's always to taste for people. You don't want to put so much in that you can't take it out. I'm also going to put a little bit of my red onion, excuse me, into my slaw. Just a really thin slices, like so. Anyway, a little bit of pepper. You don't need to put a lot of salt into this mayonnaise because it's quite salty anyway, okay? Right, that's done. Let's temp check the... I'm going to turn that one over. That's been 3 minutes. No chance. I'm going to catch it. Should we crank it? All right, let's go. This air fryer also, most air fryers will go up to, I think, 200. 2:30. So it goes up pretty hot. You could actually do a pizza. Rightio, now, I really want that tray out of there as well. Oh, gosh. Oh, this is looking very good. Now, 55 for a pork chop, still medium rare, right? It's just over medium rare. So I'm not going to have that particular piece of pork at medium rare. Now, if I was eating something that was a free-range organic pig, you can actually eat pig at medium rare. The world has changed a lot. And do you know that the last time I was in Japan, I was also eating raw chicken. So do you know the fillet from the chicken breast? You take the fillet off. They were serving that raw with a soy sauce or the dip. Didn't even get sick. And I think it goes back to Simon Galt telling me, no matter what it is, you have to try it before somebody else eats it. So he was making chicken mousselines and chicken mousses and everything, and we're trying them before we're cooking them. So I don't know, but that's what we were doing. So it can be medium to medium rare. Your pork can be blushing if you know it's good quality and where it's from. Is it the way I like to eat it? No. Do I like to eat my steak medium rare? No. I like my steaks medium, right? So my pork is about the same. Just hitting to that medium point where you can let it rest for a couple of minutes. It's got a little bit of caramelization around the outside. It's warmed the whole way through. It's delicious. Right. This one. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm just going to let that rest here for a second because I'm not going to be able to use there. All of my veg though, I'll do them separately, okay? We'll do the broccolini first. Okay, so all I'm doing with the broccolini is I put them up different ways there like that so that obviously that's going to fit in there really nicely. It's already cooked. All I want this to happen here is a little bit of caramelization and to dry out a little bit around those outside leaves, all right? It says 8 minutes to go. We'll pull that like so. And I'm going to put my beans just in and around there. Turn that over. And put that in like that. And there we go.
Remember, it's super hot.
Yeah. Right, now, a plate. We've got one chop on there already. We'll just let that one rest up while the others are getting ready. I'll take a little bit of my slaw. Actually, I'm just going to leave that to the side. We don't need it. I'll do that with the fish. That's all good. Those beans now already blanched. I want them to get a little bit of blistering. I want them to blacken. That's what I'm after. My crackle I'll put on the side here, but that's going to be the garnish. Okay, it's hot, but not coloured yet. I like the light on there. Here, let me turn it around so you can have a look. I'll just get my ingredients for the last, but not least. Now, I've got, this morning I was out, straight onto the boat, out to get some fish. It was quite rough. I got up really early this morning and I thought, right, I'm going to go and get some decent fish, and then it was so early that none of the supermarkets were really open. They were just setting up, and I thought you shouldn't really go to the supermarket to buy the fish on a Monday, because I was thinking most people have a weekend, right? And so this fish could have been there for the weekend. Anyway, they assured me that it was fresh catch this morning. It certainly looked like it because there was so much of it. And it's either there was so much of it because of two reasons. One, it was brand new, or two, it was because of the price. And have you guys seen the price of fish at the supermarket? It was $45 a kilo for gurnard. Shark, $40. Today I've got a bit of gurnard. Yeah. I just thought, you know, what's To be honest, I'd even go for the tarakihi at times. I love tarakihi as well. But I've got a little bit of gurnard. And actually, I might just do 2 pieces. And if somebody can answer what kind of fish this is. Pardon? Yes. You can take this home when you go, right? I'm going to leave it on ice so it doesn't go funny. Okay, now I can see now my broccolini is beginning to change colour, okay, and start to get a little bit caramelised. Now, I've got to admit, we've always eaten a lot of broccoli in my house. But this stuff, when it's on special, at $2.50 I think it comes down to, that is one of the glorious things, most glorious things I'm eating when it's in season. Very beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. Right, broccolini's done. How's everything looking in this one? Because I can't see it. I'm going to say the beans are looking awesome, but that chop, what's the timer say? 5. So it's had about, what, 8 minutes? Okay, I can't see anything here. I'm going to say that's only about halfway cooked. So you can see already the difference. And let's say that's had 8 minutes, between 8 minutes for this one and 8 minutes for that one. So let's go back in here and finish it off. So there we've learned something quite valuable today, right? My wife is kind of right in some ways, because this one is definitely not as powerful in the sense of caramelising because of the, you can hear this air in here, can't you? It sounds to me like this has a turbo fan that blows the hot air around, whereas this sounds more, or feels more like a convection where it's heating up from elements.
So how long have you given it this?
I'm just going to give that until those beans are done. So I'm thinking 3 minutes. Look at these though. You can see here, they're beautiful. They're starting to get a little bit blistered, which is what I want. They're very, very good. Rightio, now, just while we're waiting for those things to finish up, I hate there to be nothing happening. So, fish, I've got some cumin, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of chili, some garlic powder and some paprika. So I'm going for almost like a Mexican spice mix. If you want to make life easy, just go and buy one of those Cully's Mexican spice mixes for your nachos or your tacos or whatever like that. Open it, take out a teaspoon, dust it over your fish. You can cook your fish like that, and then you seal the rest of that, can pack it up, and you can use it in 2 or 3 weeks' time, up to a year. So instead of having to buy them all, you can just buy a few. So into there, I'm just going to put that in straight like that, and then mix it all around so that it's quite coated, because that's where most of the flavour for this dish is going to come from, right? So glad I've done that. Okay, now I've got some normal Farah's tortillas as well. Now these tortillas, I got these ones because I found that they actually stay very soft. If you like the crispy tacos, right, what I do is I buy both, and this one goes inside the other one, or you can wrap it around the outside, it doesn't matter, so that you have the soft on the outside of the crispy, and it is really, really quite delicious to do it like that, okay? My son taught me that.
How old is your son?
Now too old.
Scary.
Can I tell you what happened this morning? So he's 21 now. Yes. So 15 years ago is when I did MasterChef, and he's 21. So he's now driving around having a great time, most of the time. I almost get here today and I get a phone call from my son, and he's, well, maybe verging on a little aggressive and a little bit freaked out. I could hear in his voice, "What's happened?" I said, as a normal parent would. "Dad, I've just been T-boned." I said, "What, son?" He goes, "I've just had a car crash." And so I said, my first thing is, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay, but the car." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, what's happened?" And so the guy's come around the roundabout, he's heading to him, and I said, "Well, that's all right, we've got insurance." He goes, "Oh, Dad." I'm like, "What?" "My warrant ran out last week." And it's like, okay, yeah, thanks a lot. This is awesome. But like I said, he's 21, so I can help him. But I don't have to make that bed anymore, right? So I'm really happy with my beans. Some of them have got a really nice bit of colouring on them, which is what we wanted. Okay. I'm just going to put those on the other side of here like that. Now, this is a rustic meal. And if you think about it, you're probably going to say, Brett, you've got no carbs. But I could just put my French fries on there if I wanted, right? Right, 2 minutes. Should we have another look? Okay, that's actually looking probably even better now than the first one. We'll temp check that. Okay, it's temped up, it's well over.
What was it? What years?
That is now 68 degrees. But that is going to be very good, I'd say. Right, so and onto there. 2 things, right? What I could do is, if you've only got 2 bits of crackle and there's only 1 person, well then you're happy. But if you've only got 2 chops and one's going to each, sometimes I crunch it up and then sprinkle it over the top, okay? Or just have them on the top so that everyone does. You always finish off, I find pork loves a little bit of salt. And if you really wanted to, you could have a few of your extra chips here that I've got. Also on the side. So there you have it. Pretty simple. And applesauce, yeah, you could. Rightio, now, thank you so much. What a ledge. Right, this one's really quick and easy. So the only reason I wanted that warmed up is because when I take my tortillas, you want to make sure that you warm them up slightly. If you don't have a microwave, okay, you could do them in the microwave. You just cover them up. You can splash a little bit of water on the top of them, okay, and then you just steam them. Or you can do it the same way. This is up probably at 230 still, so I will take it down, temp down. It's got 1 minute, that's all I want. If they dry out, all you need to do is just, like I said, sprinkle them with a little bit of water and that's done. Now, take a touch of oil. I can hear everyone go, well, do you know what, I learned that from Jamie Oliver. It's always a tablespoon's always a couple. Do you know, it's funny because the world's changed in the last few years with respect to food and ingredients. $20 a kilo for a chuck. It's a lot, yeah. Okay, fish has gone in. They really do. Do you know? Oh, they're beautiful. Rightio. Here we go. Slaw. Now, with my slaw, of course, you never want to overdress. So I might go that way. Just enough dressing in there to anoint, but I don't want it to be too much. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it's just going to stick together nicely. Now, what I find with this in America as well is that they've just been putting a little bit of vinegar on it. You put a bit of vinegar and a bit of sugar and you mix that through, you've got like an American style slaw. Quite good if you're pulling pork because you have that acidity to cut through the richness. This one's just a little bit more decadent. I'll put a little bit of salt and pepper and of course a little bit of coriander. Hands up if you don't like coriander. I know this one already. Yeah, so 25% of the population doesn't eat it because does it taste soapy? Amazing. I love the stuff. Rightio. So, the colour on the fish has come out quite nicely. Okay. The trick is, it's firm already. Okay. I don't think it should. Although I don't think it should be cooked through yet, but it's going to be very close. Oh, it could well be. Well, let's have a look. I think that was about 3 minutes. I'll take out the big piece and we'll just have a bit of a squiz. Actually, I'll go the small bit first. I'm really sorry for you sitting there. I'll just break it open so that we can have a look. Oh gosh, look at that. So I would say it's just got another maybe 30 seconds. But what I like with my fish, oh boy, is I prefer it to come off just under. Otherwise, we're in trouble, right? So always just under. And to know when that is isn't the easiest, but it is a little forgiving. So, for example, I know I just broke that open, but I will promise you that is 1 minute away from being ready, okay? The thing is, the rule of thumb, if you can get a big, thick piece of fish, say 2 centimetres, okay? It's 2 minutes, around about, per centimetre. So if you think about it, you're putting it in a hot pan, you can cook 2 minutes for the first half, turn it over and cook 2 minutes for the second half. But this is contentious because there's an Australian guy called Josh Nyland. And when he taught me to cook a piece of fish, he said, Brett, you get that pan screaming hot, cast iron is what he always uses. He uses ghee, skin side down, okay? Skin side down straight away. He puts a press or a weight on the top of that. Bang, the weight goes on. He cooks it until it's almost cooked all the way through. Then he puts it in the oven. He never ever lets the flesh side touch a pan. But he also never cleans his fish with water. It's very dry, okay? So even when he's filleting and everything's aged, takes the scales off with a knife. Because when you scrape the fish like this to take the scales off, all those pockets in the fish, you open them up, and then when you go and clean the fish with water, you put water into all of those pockets, which means the skin will never go crispy. Yep. Right, these ones are lovely. The small fish is definitely cooked through now. So take that off. And the big one, I'm just going to break a piece open. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. Everything's really good here. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of slaw in both. Okay. Top it off with a beautiful piece of fish. This one I'm going to try and keep whole. And you can see, oh yeah. I mean, I can show you this. You can see how beautiful, juicy and shiny the fish is. Very, very, very good. Okay, and then of course, finishing it off with a little bit of coriander. You could put extra chili on there if you want to. But here we have it. We've got we've got our Wagyu beef burger with slaw. It's got our McClure's pickles, caramelised cheese on the top, served with fries. We've got our pork chops with our special crackle that's come off the side of there, blistered greens. And then, of course, we have our Mexican-style fish tacos, just with a simple slaw. Really easy to make, super awesome to have in the air fryer, and nice when finished with a little bit of lime. There you have it.